Listen. If you've ever felt I'm nothing special, but at the same time you can see how much of this world is off, then maybe you're not ordinary at all. You're just trapped in a brutal psychological trap. The more you understand, the more you realize how much you don't know. The sharper the mind, the quieter the ego. So you go silent. You doubt. You keep questioning. Meanwhile, the loud mouths who teach everyone like they're prophets are often empty inside. Have you seen this scene? In a group, the loudest person always wants to win. They interrupt, they grab the mic, they finalize everything like a lawyer. And the quiet one watching, thinking, nodding once in a while, gets labeled, has no opinions. The ugly truth, a lot of the best brains get underestimated simply because they don't like performing. Real intelligence rarely hangs a sign saying I'm smart. It hides in habits. In how you listen. How you pause. How you process information before you speak. And if you recognize yourself in the traits below, don't get cocky. Wake up. Because having a good brain and living like a weak person is more pathetic than being average. I'm not here to soothe you. I'm here to drag you out of that smart but scared life, smart, yet still begging others for permission to live. Sign number 1, you talk less, but your mind talks nonstop. High IQ people don't rush to dominate conversations. They observe and let others reveal their thinking first. Silence isn't awkward to them, it's a space where the brain filters garbage. They choose words carefully. They hate being wrong. They understand words have consequences. When they speak, it's often short but precise. Not because they're arrogant, but because they already solved the problem in their head. Maybe you're the kind of person who barely speaks in a meeting, but later your brain runs like a machine. What did that really mean? What is he hiding? Where is this system broken? Don't call yourself timid. Sometimes it means you're processing deeper than most. Sign number 2, you ask why, even when everyone says it's obvious. You don't swallow information just because everyone says so. You ask because you want to understand the system, not be a puppet. You inspect hidden assumptions, look for exceptions, flip over cheap truths. Weak people hate being questioned. Strong minds treat questions like oxygen. You ask, why do we do it this way? Who benefits from this rule? What if we reverse the assumption? People get annoyed because your questions expose what they don't understand. If you've been labeled stubborn, difficult, or argumentative, relax. Arguing to feed your ego is childish. Arguing to understand structure is mature. You're not a troublemaker, you just refuse to live like the herd. Sign number 3, you're obsessed with patterns. You notice repeated behaviors, hidden connections, cycles. You can predict what's coming from tiny signals. It's not magical intuition, it's constant background analysis. You look at a YouTube channel and know why the views are dropping. You hear a sentence and see the motive behind it. You look at a team and know it will collapse unless something changes. The cost is exhaustion. Seeing too clearly makes it hard to shut your brain off. You don't get fooled by packaging, so sometimes you feel lonely among people who prefer comforting lies. If you relate to at least 2 out of these 3 signs, comment I see it. Don't be a quietly brilliant person living like a coward. Hit follow/subscribe. Because the next part explains what makes smart people both powerful and isolated, how they actually operate in life. And if you want more thinking plus action content, turn on notifications so you don't get swallowed by tomorrow's noise. Now we're getting to the part that irritates people because it exposes the truth. Smart people can't tolerate wasted effort. They see a dumb process and their hands itch. They see a broken system and they want to fix it. And sometimes that restlessness is exactly what makes you different. You may not call it talent, but it's a real optimization instinct. Sign number 4, you solve problems nobody asked you to solve. You spot bottlenecks and build solutions. Not because you want to be a hero, but because your brain treats problems like puzzles. You optimize the route, create templates, write checklists, turn chaos into something that runs. You see messy files and organize them. You see a posting workflow and create a schedule. You see a video script and naturally break it into hook, body, payoff. Weak people complain. Strong people fix. Sometimes you get angry because it's obviously faster this way, but the crowd still does it the old way. Don't get discouraged. Most people don't love efficiency, they love familiarity. You love what works. That difference, if you use it right, can turn you into someone who builds products, systems, and money. Sign number 5, you read to collect thinking models, not to look smart. You don't read because you're afraid of being judged as ignorant. You read to collect lenses. A great book gives you a framework to interpret reality. You read philosophy to understand people. History to understand power. Psychology to understand motives. Science to understand principles. Then you connect ideas across fields, and suddenly you see new strategies. Average people read and forget. Smart people read and change how they see the world. You learn leverage in business and apply it to content. One strong video is leverage, it generates hundreds of thousands of views while you sleep. You learn optimization in engineering and apply it to production, use AI to speed up, cut dumb steps, keep the creative core. That's reading to become dangerous, not reading to pose. Sign number 6, you overthink in layers, not in circles. People say you think too much. But you're usually simulating scenarios. You calculate risk, prepare backup plans, test outcomes A, B, and C. You ask, if the worst happens, then what? What's my fallback? What resources am I wasting? When you move, you've already run multiple mental rehearsals. That's why you're calmer than others in chaos. Sure, sometimes you get stuck because a strong brain can generate too many branches. My fix, limit options. Pick a maximum of 2 paths. Set a deadline. And remember, thinking doesn't replace action. Thinking without doing is you strangling yourself with logic. Sign number 7, you crave quiet. You don't hate people, you hate meaningless noise. You need hours with no notifications, no drama, no constant input dragging your brain everywhere. In quiet, your mind organizes itself. Many expensive ideas only show up when you turn off the noise. You walk alone, take long showers, stare at the ceiling, and then, oh. That's it. Weak people fear quiet because quiet means facing themselves. Strong people love quiet because quiet is where they sharpen the blade. If you want real growth, protect your quiet hours like you protect your dignity. Don't let anyone steal them with junk notifications. If you want me to turn this into real-life strategy and real money strategy, hit like and share this with someone who's always insecure but actually has a strong brain. And follow the channel. I don't lull people to sleep, I teach you to use your mind for results. If you have a soft heart and want sweet lies, go somewhere else. Here, it's truth in action. This is the part most people avoid because it hits the ego. But if you want to grow up, listen carefully. Intelligence isn't a trophy. It's a knife. Used right, it carves a better life. Used wrong, it cuts you. Sign number 8, you're brutally honest with yourself in a good way. When you fail, you don't blame fate. You review yourself, what you did wrong, where you were delusional, what skill you're missing. You don't hide truth to protect your image. You record the mistake, extract the lesson, and fix it. Weak people survive on excuses. Strong people survive on data. Honesty with yourself makes you evolve fast even when it hurts. You might say, I should have done better. It sounds like self-abuse, but it's often standards. The problem isn't being strict. The problem is being strict and not changing anything. Strict without action is self-harm. Strict plus fixing is maturity. Sign number 9, you manage energy, not time. You understand 24 hours is a lie if your energy is empty. You know when your mind is sharp and when it's dull. You do hard work when your brain is bright, easy tasks when you're low. You don't grind just to look busy. You rest strategically to increase output. You protect your golden hours like money. You also simplify your schedule. You hate pointless meetings. You hate tiny tasks invading deep focus. You learn to say no. Others brag about being busy. You brag about results. Results by freedom. Sign number 10, you know how to sound normal. You don't need complex vocabulary to intimidate people. You simplify so others can understand. You speak to the point. You translate difficult ideas into everyday language. Your goal is clarity, not showing off. Real intelligence makes people feel respected, not humiliated. You read the room. With beginners, you go slower and use examples. With experts, you go straight to the core. You don't intellectualize to earn admiration, because admiration doesn't pay bills. Value pays bills. If you saw yourself in these signs, you're not weird. You're just the type whose intelligence runs quietly. But don't get proud for nothing. Being smart and not using it to upgrade your life is useless. A strong brain living scared, procrastinating, seeking comfort means you're betraying yourself. You don't need to prove you're better than anyone. You only need to prove to yourself that you can use your mind to create value, understand more, build better, live intentionally. And if you want to move fast, stop talking. Start building. Here's the final self-test. What are you spending your brain on every day? Scrolling, arguing, comparing, or building something that leaves a mark? Smart people who never train action are just people who think well. Choose one small project and do it for 7 days straight, write one script, upload one video, optimize one workflow. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. Consistency creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence pulls you out of poverty. Subscribe, because I'll show you how to turn thinking into action. Don't be the smart person who stays broke because you're too lazy to execute. You're not lacking talent. You're lacking discipline.